Hi, I'm Kara with the YMCA, and welcome to Wellness Wednesday. Today we are going to create a wellness wheel. So what you'll need is a piece of paper. It can be any piece of paper. Mine actually has something else on the other side, but I'm going to use this white side here. It can be colorful. It can be anything that you have at home. So grab a piece of paper, and then you're going to need markers, colored pencils, crayons, or if you don't have any of that, you can definitely use a pen or pencil. That's not a problem. So go ahead and go grab those while I kind of explain what we're going to be working on today. So I'm going to start off by asking, how many people have ever ridden a bicycle? So I've ridden a bike. And what you do first, right, you put on your helmet and you're riding your bike and it's a nice day out and you're saying hi to your neighbors and you're riding down the street, but then what happens if your wheel goes flat? Your front tire goes flat, you kind of get a bumpy ride and you can't control the steering, and then you crash. And then you don't get to your destination. So the journey's kind of over at that point. So whenever we think of our wellness wheel, we think of that tire. And if it is flat, if we don't have a lot of color in our wheel, then we need to work on that in order to be our best self. So if you have your piece of paper, go ahead and grab a black marker or a pen or pencil. I'm going to do a black marker so that you guys can see what I'm drawing. So what you're going to draw is 3 circles. And I'll show you how. So let me do mine first. And it does not have to be perfect. This is your wellness wheel, so it doesn't have to be perfect. It can just be whatever you guys draw. So it's going to be 3 circles, kind of like a bullseye. So you're going to have 3 different sizes, one inside the other. And in the center circle here, I want you to put your name. So if your name's long, maybe you want to put it in an arc, or maybe you want to do swirly name. My name's pretty short, so I'm able to put it, I'll write it all in here. My name is Kara. So you'll put your name in the center there. All right. Awesome. Okay, so now we're going to draw our pie slices. So each, we have to draw 6 pie slices. So how we're going to do that is we're going to make an X, but we don't want to draw through our name. So I'll show you. You're going to draw an X. I'll show you here. Like this. That is your X, but I didn't draw through my name. So go ahead and do that. And then we're going to draw one more line that's going to go straight through the center here. But again, not through your name. So we'll draw one more line like this. So that is your wellness wheel. And so what we're going to do from here is we're going to talk about different types of wellness. So whenever you think of wellness or health and wellness, a lot of people think of exercise, maybe eating well, but there's all sorts of types of wellness, and we'll talk about those for each one of these pie slices. So the first one that we are going to talk about is probably the one that most people think about, which is physical wellness. So physical wellness is orange. So go ahead and take out your orange crayon or marker if you have one. If you don't, then just use your pen or your pencil. And we're going to use this section right here. And we're going to color in to here. Actually, I'm so sorry. We're going to draw one more circle because I want you guys to have 3 spaces to color in. So go ahead and draw in one more circle. Not through your name, though. So I want you to have 3 spaces to color in. So we're going to use this space right here for our first coloring. So if you do, I'm going to ask you questions. If you do, like for instance, the first question is, do you get enough sleep every night? So if the answer is yes, and so kids are supposed to get 10 hours of sleep every night. So if you do get 10 hours of sleep, then you're going to color this whole section in. So right here, you'll color it all. If you get 8, you color half of it. If you're getting like 4 hours of sleep, 5 hours of sleep, you just outline it, okay? So you're not going to color the whole thing in. So if you get however much sleep that you get, you're going to color that section in. So I usually get about 7 hours of sleep. So you can see that I did not color the whole thing in. All right. So then the next section is going to be right above that. So this section here. So the next question is, how active are you every day? So you're supposed to be active 1 whole hour every day, which means that you are riding your bike or walking around the block or maybe using a jump rope or bouncing around a soccer ball, anything that keeps you active and up and moving. You're supposed to do that at least an hour a day. If you do that, color that whole section in. If you don't, color half of it. And if you kind of do it, then you can color in like just the outside. Like just make kind of like outline the section. All right. So I am usually active by walking around or doing that kind of stuff for probably about 30 minutes a day. I don't get to do it every day. So I did about half of it. The last question, and that's this section here up top, is going to be, do you eat healthy? So eating healthy means that you are eating vegetables and fruit, and you are staying away from a lot of French fries and burgers and cakes and candy and cookies. If you eat a lot of that, you're probably going to just want to outline this section, which is okay. If you eat a lot of fruits and vegetables, then you're going to color the whole thing in. If you eat more like, pretzels and you eat more like sandwiches, maybe with a lot of mayonnaise and cheese and stuff like that on them, maybe you'll color half of it in. So every once in a while I eat cookies and cake and sweets, so I'm going to color about half of it in. Okay? All right, so the next section, so that's physical. The next section is going to be social. So social is red. So if you do have crayons or markers or anything, you're going to grab a red. So social is how you are, how you have relationships with others. So how you communicate with others and how others, or how your relationship with other people. So the first question is, and that's going to be this small space right here. So the first question is that I have close, trusting relationships with at least 3 people. So if you have a close, trusting relationship with one person, you're going to color in about one section of it. 2 people, 2 sections, and 3 people, you'll color the whole thing in. So I have a close, trusting relationship with 3 people. So if that's true, you'll color all of it in. Perfect. So the next question is going to be this section right here, the next section. And it is, I can resolve conflict. You get in an argument with someone and you guys are yelling back and forth and you get mad at each other. Are you able to go and tell them sorry? Are you able to go and talk it out and figure out what happened and be able to resolve that conflict? If yes, then you're going to color all of it in. If kind of sometimes maybe, you're going to color half of it in. And if you are not always good at that, if you just don't like saying sorry, then go ahead and just outline that section. So in that way, you can see that that's something you can work on. And then the last section is out here. So the last section is, I understand others' feelings. So this means that if you see someone and they're kind of looking down, you understand that they are probably either tired or they are sad, and you're able to go up to them and say, hey, are you okay? Or if you see someone excited, you can be like, hey, what happened? Why are you so happy? Those type things. So if you're able to understand other people's feelings, you're going to color in that top part. All right. Again, if you don't have crayons and stuff, that is okay. You can still do this with a pencil or a pen. All right. So the next section is going to be spiritual, and it is yellow. So if you have a yellow marker or crayon, grab that. We're going to use this section right here. So the first question is, I have a sense of meaning, purpose in my life. which means that you have something that motivates you to do something in the future. For instance, maybe you clean your room and what motivated you was to make your mom happy. Or you're going to school because you really want to be a vet, like a veterinarian. And so you are going to school because you want to make sure you get to college. Something like that. Maybe you are going to go outside and do tricks on your scooter because you really want to be able to impress people at the park once we get to go back. Those type things. So if you have any of those, go ahead and color in this portion here. So if you feel like you have a sense of purpose in your life, go ahead and color that in. All right, so the next portion right here is going to be I meditate, pray, or do some other growth practice. So what's a growth practice? So that can be journaling. Maybe you keep a journal. Maybe you read to educate yourself, or even just visualizing the future. You could think about, like, maybe you're taking a deep breath and you're like, okay, I'm going to do this, and this is how I see this happening. All of those things are a growth practice. So if you have those, or you do those in your life, go ahead and color in this next section. If you feel like you do sometimes, maybe you keep a journal, but you just write in it maybe once a month. Maybe that's half of it. Or if you feel like, you don't do a whole lot, then you can always just mark the outside of it. And then my last question is my favorite. Do you celebrate your culture? So if you listen to certain music, you do certain dances, maybe you have pictures on your walls at home of people from your past, your heritage, all of those things. If you celebrate your culture, you're going to color in this here, the last yellow. So go ahead and color in however much you feel like you celebrate your culture. If you aren't sure you celebrate your culture, maybe don't fill it all in, and then ask parents and ask how you can do that. And they can help you. Or you might not know you're celebrating your culture and then tell you how you're doing it. All right. So the next one is green. Green is for environmental wellness. So environmental wellness, most people think about the earth, right? So we're going to use this section here. The earth is part of the environmental wellness, but also your home is. So anything in your immediate environment is also your environment. So my first question is, and it's this portion here, do I do chores? If you do chores at home, if you keep your room clean and take care of your environment at home, then you're going to color in this section here. Maybe you put away your dishes after you eat, or maybe you help by cleaning out a cat litter box, or anything that helps clean up your environment. You're going to put it in that section right there. All right, so there is that. So your next one is I take care of the earth. So in this section here, you're going to color in how often do you not litter, or maybe you take care of a garden, or you take care of anything that is part of the earth. So if you do that, then go ahead and fill in that section there. If you kind of do that, maybe fill in half of it. If you really don't care about recycling or about taking care of the environment, you don't have to fill that section in. You can just mark the outside of it and just outline it. And then the last one is I take care of others. So in this section here, you're going to mark if you take care of someone else. So that might be you take care of your grandma every once in a while, or you take care of a little sister or a little brother. The other thing you can take care of is animals. Do you have a cat that you take care of, or a dog that you walk? Those are others that you're also taking care of. So if you do that, go ahead and fill out in this section here. So I've got 3 kids, 2 dogs, 2 cats, and a hedgehog. And I get to take care of all of them. So I'm going to go ahead and fill this whole section in. That is environmental. That is there. Okay. So then my next one is blue. So grab your blue. and that is intelligent, or intellectual wellness. So intellectual wellness is all about wanting to be a lifelong learner. So if you feel like you're a lifelong learner, you're probably going to have a lot of this section filled in. So the first question is, I like school and I like to learn. So in this section here, you're going to color in if you like to learn and you like school. So maybe you like a couple classes in school, but not all of it. You don't have to color the whole thing in. Or maybe you kind of like to learn, but only certain things. You don't have to color it all in then either. But if you really like to learn and you love school, go ahead and color that whole thing, the whole part in. So there's that. Our wellness wheels are coming together. They're pretty bright and colorful. All right, so the next one is, I am curious and ask questions. So I am always asking questions. So that is this section here. If you're curious and you ask questions about things, then go ahead and fill that section in. If you're kind of quiet and you maybe you think about the questions a lot, you're welcome to fill it all in too. I understand not always being an extrovert and speaking what you're thinking, but if you feel like you don't really question a whole lot, just fill in about half of it. All right, we're almost there. So this section here is going to be, I like to master new skills. So maybe you want to read a whole chapter book by yourself, or maybe you want to learn how to knit or how to ride a bike. Any of those things that you want to do and you're trying to work towards it and you want to get better at it. It could also be sports. What if you are trying to learn Taekwondo and you are trying to get better at it every day by practicing? So if you practice something, fill in that whole section there. If you have thought about practicing something but haven't actually gotten to it, fill in about half of it, because that's something that you can work towards. It's okay not to fill out the whole section, because that means you get to work towards that, and that's the fun part. All right, last color. What is the last color that we haven't used? It's purple. All right, so purple is emotional wellness. So emotional wellness is all about our feelings. So that is going to be our last one, and it's down here. So the smaller portion of it is going to be, I have a positive attitude. So a positive attitude doesn't mean that you're always saying yes, 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 or you're always saying like, great, that would be fantastic. A positive attitude could also be, that things are bad, but you're able to say, I didn't we didn't win the soccer game, but I'm going to try harder next time and we might win next time. So having a positive attitude is what this section's about. So if you have a positive attitude, fill that in. If a lot of times you're saying we didn't win the soccer game and we'll never win, that is something that is actually a pretty negative attitude. So if you have that, you're just going to fill in either half of it or you can outline it. And then you can work on it. So those are all things you can work towards. So there's my positive attitude. All right, so the next section is going to be, I am able to comfort myself when I feel troubled. So if you're able to tell yourself okay, I'm stressed out, I'm going to breathe for a little while, I need to walk away for a minute, and I am going to comfort myself when I feel troubled, that is this section. If you aren't quite sure how to do that, maybe you can fill out half of that section and then work towards it. Or if you're I cannot do that, then just outline the section. So if you are able to comfort yourself, so maybe you learn breathing techniques to do it, or that whenever you get upset, you need to just go sit in your room for a minute so that you're able to kind of calm down and think through what happened before you can go out and say, this is how I feel. That is that section there. All right, last section. So the last section is, I show empathy and compassion to others. So empathy means that whenever you see someone feeling a certain way, that you acknowledge that feeling. So for instance, or you understand the feeling and then you help them with it. So if you see someone who's super happy, you can say, hey, like, I see that you're happy. Like, I'm so excited for you. And you tell them, or you feel for them. So, or if you see someone sad, you can go to them and say, what happened? Is there anything I can do to help you? So those are all parts of empathy. So if that's something that you do, go ahead and fill out the bottom section. If it's something that you're like, oh, I'm not so great at empathy, maybe I can see someone that's upset, but I'm not going to go talk to them. That is something that you can work towards. So it does take a little bit of practice to be able to know what to say to people whenever they may be angry or they may be sad or tired. Usually people who are happy, you're pretty good about being able to go up to them and say, what happened? Because you want to know. But sometimes it takes a little bit of practice to help others that are upset. All right, so let's see your wellness wheels. Here's mine.
5 minutes.
Aren't these fantastic? So it looks like I need some help with my physical wellness. So I probably should sleep a little bit more, maybe eat a little healthier, because if I went on a bike ride and I was going like this little section here might be a little bumpy and a little flat. So that's something I can work towards. I can start thinking about what I eat and how, like, what time I go to sleep. If I know what time I'm going to be waking up in the morning. So other things you might think about is, like, maybe you put that you're not very good at saying you're sorry. So that's something we can practice. So these are all things that we can look at and practice these to become our best selves. And then if you want, you can show this to other people and see how they do, or you can show this video to other people and see what their wellness looks like. And then you can work and help each other figure out how to be your best self. So with the wellness wheel, I know that I didn't write it on here, but you're also welcome to put the different wellness sections. So there's the orange is physical, the red is social, the yellow is spiritual, the green is environmental, the blue is intellectual, and the purple here, do you remember what it was? It's emotional, right? So I would challenge you to see if you could have someone else in your household create a wellness wheel and see if they're very similar to you or how they're different. And then I also encourage you, for any of these blank, empty spots that you left open, to work towards them. You can do anything from working on caring for others. Maybe you can create a caring card, or which is a card that you give to someone else to tell them how you feel about them. You can also work on environmental by cleaning your bedrooms. I know that's a hard one, especially since we're home. You can work on new skills. One of the skills that everyone is probably working on right now is how to work a computer and how to get into a Google Classroom, or maybe how to do your homework through the internet now. So that's something that you can master, those new skills. So think outside the box and think about different ways that you can grow your wellness wheel and make it full, so you'd have that full tire in order to move to your next destination. One of the things that we talked about was being able to visualize your future. So whenever you visualize that, think about all the things that you would need in order to get there. A lot of them include stuff that's on your wellness wheel. So whenever you are thinking about those, you're going to fill them in and fill it out this. So keep your crayons or your markers close by. Put this up on the wall. And then whenever you master a skill, or whenever you feel like you've gotten better at it, just mark a little bit more in. And so then that way you know that you're getting closer and closer to your best self. So I just want to thank you so much for joining us today. Next week on Wellness Wednesday, we are going to be celebrating Earth Day. So Earth Day is on April 22nd. So we'll be here doing an Earth Day project on how to keep the earth well, because wellness is not always something that has to be with us, but it also is environmental, just like our green section here. So next week we will be here doing an Earth Day project, and we hope that you come and join us. You don't have to bring anything with you. It's something that you'll just watch, and then you can see how we can keep the earth well. So thank you so much for joining us today. Again, I'm Kara with the YMCA, and this is Wellness Wednesday, and we're so excited that you came and did our wellness wheel with us. Thank you so much. Have a good day.